Impromptu cast.
Hello and welcome to Impromptu cast. It's a new thing I've decided to do. It's a podcast I could do whenever, and then release it whenever I want to. So, because I don't like a schedule, and I'll just think of an idea and then grab whoever. For today, it's me, Dominic, and we got Calvin.
How's it going?
And we got Steven.
Yo!
And we're going to be talking about the new Death Note movie. We just watched it like literally 5 seconds ago. We just finished watching it, and we're going to give our first impressions on what we think of this movie. So, without further ado, let's talk about Death Note. So, Calvin.
So dumb.
Steven.
It differs a lot from the anime.
Yes,
But
definitely.
who fucking cares?
Yeah.
I love that fucking movie. Holy shit. So
Yeah.
I've been reading like the random reviews that have been coming out for the past couple days now. And for the past couple days it's been, oh, this fucking shit. I hate this movie. Like everyone has been shitting on it. Check like Rotten Tomatoes. It's like a 14 to like 34% or something. It's in the very low fucking range. But that had I was kind of going in with low expectations. Maybe it's because I went in with low expectations. I was blown out of the water because it was just fun. It was stupid fun. Now, I think part of my enjoyment, I'm biased. I'm a big horror movie guy. And the director, Adam Wingard, he's made You're Next, which is starting to get like kind of a cult following. The Guest, which already has a cult following. He's been in VHS too. He had one of the first segments. He had for anyone watching, he had the eye segment where the guy has the fucked up camera eye, can see dead people and shit. He's good at horror, and he's good at really pandering to people that love horror. And if you really like that, I don't know if you guys had as much fun as I did, but watching some of the deaths in this movie are fucking stupid.
Yeah, the death scenes were really, really fucking gory, and I appreciated that. They were just like, we could just do whatever the fuck we want. So, head explosions, bodies falling from, like, buildings and just going splat, and you just see all the gore. I'm sure the special effects people had like a ton of fun.
Oh,
Everything goes blood on the walls.
I wonder how many times they like had to do a special, like how many times they just threw a fake corpse at the ground, or just like that wasn't good enough. We have to blow it up again.
Oh my god!
But I will say that other than that, this movie is very slow start.
It's a very slow. It's that
slow
slow burn that would turn off a lot of people. And like we were kind of like half following the movie in the beginning. We're like, fuck it, we'll just. And like at a certain point, we got to the halfway point. L's showing up, and L's really calm and collected in the anime. And in this, he's just like, I know who the fuck you are. I'm fucking the best ever. Fuck this shit. And he like is crazy. Like, balls to the wall. Lakeith Stanfield is amazing as L in this. And
His emotions show right to the surface.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very strong.
So, the movie starts out with Light looking... I hate his face. I hate his fucking face.
No, the very
like,
first
it was so off. I know the Death Note just pops up, but it's just like... Because it's a movie, of course, so you're just like,
yeah, I
have to get all this shit out of the way really, really fast because I only have this certain amount of time to do it. And it just felt weird because it was really, really rushed. So it was just like, boom, she's the cheerleader, she's the girl that likes him, and they have this relationship.
Not Misa.
They were just
Mia.
They were trying to introduce elements too fast. They were just like,
it
here's
was just,
a love interest, you know? My gosh.
And it is a high school, so instead of like the college setting, it was just so fucking edgy. And it pissed.
They're like pushing kids.
It was
against,
so.
They're pushing kids against like lockers and being like, "Nerd, what's up?" And like that's literally in the very beginning. And so going back to the face part just a little bit, you had a funny thing, Dom, at the very beginning of the movie. One of the very first scenes, like the camera pans down and we see Light, and it does a zoom in on his face, and you just went, "What's wrong with his nose?"
That wasn't me. That was not me. I didn't.
I think you did do that.
No, that was. I think that was Christina.
Was it Christina?
It was Christina.
No,
I'm not like that crazy. But I just hate his face. He just looks like a douche.
Okay,
like I
look,
hate him.
There's a reason we thought it was you that was like what's
no.
wrong with his nose.
I have a lot of
something's wrong with his face. Like
yeah, I don't like it. You know that thing where you just like go. You just you're just in a room with like a bunch of random people you don't know, and you're just like, I don't like that guy for some reason because you just like looked at him. You're just like, I don't like him.
And Navy Cherub just came in here saying 40% from the critics and 24% from the audience.
Man.
And it starts in high school. Sure, it starts in high school, but the anime really rushes into college, and they don't seem to do that. This movie really takes its time with being like, I just got a death note, and I've now got a girlfriend, and the prom's tomorrow.
That
was literally the plot.
That sums up that sums up that whole fucking movie.
Holy shit! The fact that so it was technically Homecoming, but like the fact that they're in there, like they're in Homecoming and having the like slow dances, and it's like.
Oh god, I like the music choices they had for this movie. I thought that was fine. I just thought that it. I don't know. I thought these are my key points. Cinematography, fucking amazing, because like you kept pointing out in the whole entire movie, that director loves fucking contrasting colors.
Oh yeah,
all the scenes with the candy that Elle has. They're all these bright colors that stand out in this really dull background, and it made the scene look good. And also, all the camera work was amazing. Like they obviously had a budget, and it was just like
it shows.
Every hallway scene was awesome. When they introduced Elle, it like the camera followed him, and then it followed him down a hallway. And they specifically put that scene in like a nightclub in Japan just to have him walk through that hallway of like lights and shit. That was a really good shot.
It was pretty intense.
And they did that again in the chase scene at the very end of the movie, where they're running down all these hallways and alleys.
That in chase scene, the cinematography on that was amazing. When he's like running down the streets and like the camera would be like panning up, showing you like just like all the twists and turns he'd have to be going through. Oh,
those are my favorite parts of this movie.
Losing my mind.
Those like every time they had a hallway scene was my favorite like shot. Of just either chase or just someone walking down the fucking hallway, because I don't know, it just looks appealing. But all the cinematography is great. Director is really good at that. I loved Elle. I guess you want to talk about our favorite characters?
Yeah.
So my favorite character, voice crack.
There you go.
My favorite characters.
Puberty is hard.
Yes. My favorite characters are definitely have to be Elle and Willem Dafoe.
So I had kind of like a weird dark horse with this. So my favorite is still Elle. Lakeith Stanfield, if anyone in the chat has seen Lakeith Stanfield in Atlanta, which is the new Donald Glover show on FX. I'll get to that in just a second.
That's funny.
Yeah. He's also in Get Out, and he's slowly getting into more and more film roles.
Was that the main character of Get Out?
No, not the main character from Get Out, but in Get Out there's a scene where he's talking to a guy that's like totally fucked in the head.
Oh no, I know this. It's the one from the trailers. Yeah.
So that's Lakeith Stanfield. He was amazing in it, but while Willem Dafoe was great, like they didn't even need to put makeup on him for him to be Ryuk, which was great. My second favorite actor was actually the cop dad. Like he just looked so earnest, like he really looked like he cared. There was so many times where he'd be like angry or he'd be screaming about something, and I was like, this really, like, he's selling it to me. Like, he feels so invested in his son and in his job. And those scenes during, like, when he's giving his lines, it was perfect. I was not taken out of the moment. Like, sure, there's like scenes where Light will like just be like crazy and edgy, like he's just come out of Hot Topic and he's like, "Wah!" But like the dad was just. His performance was actually amazing, and I think it's going to be, like, underappreciated as this movie continues for obvious reasons. But you hit on a point with the music, and I have to say this. The music was produced, and the music producers and people that worked on it, like, basically setting each scene and setting the music for each scene. One of them was Atticus Ross, who actually does a lot of, grungy metal and stuff like that because he's... Ooh, excuse me. One half of Nine Inch Nails. So if you're getting kind of like these grungier sounds during the ambient, like as ambient background music during some of the scenes, it's because Atticus Ross, specifically, like this is his forte, and it shows. There's a bunch of scenes where there's really grungy, like weird music as the ambient background music, and it's because of Atticus Ross. I just had to point that out. He was amazing in it. David, Navy Cherub said the budget was very high for a Netflix film. $40 million. That's actually pretty crazy.
I didn't know Beast of No Nation was only $6 million. Random side note: if you haven't seen Beast of No Nation, go watch that movie. It's really good, and it fucking hurts your soul because it's so real. But we'll probably talk about that another time. You need to. Have you seen it yet?
I haven't. So
please. Well, that's another. I could have another podcast about that.
Alrighty.
But that's another thing. What were we talking about other than that? The budget.
We were so outside of that budget comment, we were talking about our characters. Steven, what were your favorite characters?
Favorite characters were probably well, of course, Willem Dafoe was amazing as Ryuk, but
Hold that part. Hold the black part because it's
Just grip that black
yeah.
part.
There you go.
Willem Dafoe was amazing as Ryuk, but I actually also really appreciated Mia as she was because, well, basically just her playing off of Light, it made her craziness was actually like really impressive. Like just how just fucking insane she was. It was just like it blew me away.
No, that final scene in the Ferris wheel, she's like, "Give me the goddamn fucking book." I was like, "Damn, okay, all right, this is kind of fucking crazy." This is a lot when like they were slowly building like and that's actually one of the things that was taking me out of it. If there was like there are very few things I really like this movie, but there was like the parts where it really looked like Ryuk was fucking with the book and like he was doing stuff. I was like, this didn't happen in the fucking anime. In the anime, Ryuk just stood by and let everything happen. This doesn't seem anything accurate to the anime. I am now a professional. And then like Ryuk like played along with that, and I was fooled. So when they get around to being like, "Oh no, it was me the whole time," I'm a fucking psychopath. I was like, "Oh, so Ryuk was just being a fucker. This is amazing." And I went back to like fully enjoying the movie. Like that was my only like problem with the movie was that Ryuk shouldn't be fucking with the book, and then it turned out he wasn't. So I was like,
I never finished the anime due to many reasons.
I don't know why.
This is very strange.
I never finished.
What could have
I
possibly
can't imagine.
Because I got things spoiled for me. Spoilers. L
can't
dies,
imagine by who.
and I didn't know that. But Light does do something similar in like that whole end scene where he like wrote all that stuff that did like the sequence of events.
Yeah.
He does that in the actual anime and manga.
He does
like
something
when
very
he
similar, yeah.
loses it, like he literally gives up his book, but then he get it back. I didn't.
In the anime, he gave up the book, but he when he gave it up, he gave special instructions to Misa and had it moved around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that they could be monitored, and also by giving up the book, he lost all of his memories of it.
Yeah. But then he gets it all back.
Right, he gets it all back.
He
once
gets it back
does
when he
it.
touches the book again.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So he does again. It's trying to take
The
material
essence
from
of the anime and put it in the
it's-
film while also being literally 1/18th as long.
Yeah.
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 As,
So
as much as I don't really. I give it like a 6 out of 10 because I didn't hate it. But I don't think it was... Well, 7. Okay, I'll give it a 7. I'll be nice and give it a 7. I didn't think it was, like, the greatest movie ever. But I feel like it's a very good adaptation for what they had. So they made it, like, Americanized.
Yeah.
Like, when they Americanized it, I think it makes sense.
It almost...
Instead of doing what the
Yeah.
Japanese movies did, where they tried to just take the source material and just, like... one for one try to copy as much as possible from it.
I did like that they had L kind of start in Japan.
Oh yeah.
Like he gets up and he just starts being like, "Omae wa tekida."
Oh fuck.
Like he just
No, I hated the fucking part where it's
That-
like, "Oh, Kira. Oh, that means death in Japan." Or what was it?
It's like Kira kind of sounds similar to killer in Japanese.
Oh, God.
And that was the scene. Like it almost feels like I was watching that scene, and they like were like, Kira kind of sounds like killer in Japanese.
Oh, I fucking hated that. That made me groan a little. Like they had a couple stuff, like things in there that they're just like,
Yeah, like
here's an apple again.
Yeah, you were really harshing on those apples.
Do you get it? It's a Death Note movie
in the freaking movie.
But Steven, we have to solidify that this is a Death Note movie.
Oh yes,
Look at all these fucking apples.
Look at all the fucking apples that signify the fall from grace with the Adam and Eve
Jesus
bullshit.
Christ.
Yeah, no, it's just crazy.
I'm sorry about being so critical. I'm very critical on things because I believe you shouldn't let everything go. But I did enjoy the last half of the movie.
Yeah, no, the second half.
The second half of the movie is because that's where they start to get the ball rolling, because shit starts to get like intense and serious, which should happen in a movie because you have to build up to a climax.
Oh yeah,
and then the climax happens, and if you don't get any excitement from the climax, then it wasn't a good movie.
Dealer's choice.
So, oh god, that was funny. That was funny. Willem Dafoe, one of my favorite characters in the movie because he was really, really good at playing Ryuk. He was just evil and a dick.
I think this is
an evil dick is literally what Ryuk is supposed to be. So yeah, no,
nailed it.
I think it's Ryuk.
Oh god,
Ryuk.
That was weird.
I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name.
Oh my god, remember when he meets him in the fucking screaming?
Oh yeah, just. There's a scene in the very beginning of the movie where he first meets Ryuk, and he's in detention, and just everything in the classroom just starts being thrown around. There's marbles flying everywhere, glass shards, the chairs, the tables, they're all flying around, and it's just this like, I need like people to edit together just a compilation of just the screams from that scene.
It's already been done.
It's already happened? Amazing.
David showed it to me, and I was just like... this can't be a good movie. Which is why the beginning was so shitty. Like, they had like all the really shitty stuff at the very beginning of the movie, but then once you get past it, it starts to get good, which is fucking annoying, because it's like when you pick up a book and the beginning of the book is shit, but then everyone's like, no, just keep reading, it'll get good eventually.
When does Homestuck get good?
Yeah,
it's
fair.
Not a good thing. Like, I hate it when movies and like media and whatever you make it good from the beginning. It needs to grab your attention, or people will I'm assuming that 24% from the Rotten Tomatoes is people just turning it off.
Yeah, probably.
I completely think it's because they just turned it off because they're like, oh, this is gonna be a fucking bad movie.
And this is part of it that I have to like harsh on. And like one of the top criticisms before the movie came out was like, can't believe they fucking whitewashed this movie. They're like, and like I was sitting around watching people be like, I'm really angry that they made Light white and like other characters are white, and I was like, are you angry they made L black? And they'd be like, can't believe they'd make Light white. Like, it's like, no, you're dodging the question.
They're fucking Japanese, right, like, in the original one.
The fact that they were going through and like people just were looking for reasons to be angry at this Death Note movie. And like I think that's a lot of where the 24% comes in. There's so many people, like, okay, so there's a lot of audiences that probably didn't watch the film that rated this, and you have to look at these people. There's the hardcore like anime enthusiasts that are like, the anime of Death Note and the manga are literally the Bible. It's set in Seattle. Just can't do it. And then you have like people that are like, they made Light white. Not gonna mention that L is black. And then 1 star. Like, you know, people want to find any reason to be angry at this movie without having watched said movie.
All the things you're listing is literally what Christina kept not shutting the fuck up about while we were watching the movie. She just kept saying all these. She's like, oh, I can't believe this is not like this.
It's not like the manga, guys. It must be horrible. Look at how horrible the fact this is not like the manga.
When you look at an adaptation, of a long series, you should just turn off your brain for a second and realize they have to condense this. But you can look at it from that like standpoint. You should at least give it a chance. But if they don't condense it in a way that makes sense, then you can shit on it.
Sure.
But I feel like they did a decent job at doing that for with the sword. Like, if you just threw out all your knowledge of Death Note, it was like you could just watch this movie if you had no idea what the fuck Death Note was.
That being said, I still feel like a lot of this was like, I feel like Adam Wingard really likes Death Note. Like, there's a lot of scenes in there where like I really got the feeling that this guy likes the source material and isn't just like, oh, I guess I gotta fucking direct this movie about this shit. So, like, he really seemed like he was having fun.
I would hope that giving him $40 million, he would give a shit about this movie. So we talked about characters we like. We talked about cinematography. We talked about music. What else is there to talk about in this movie?
The fucking end. So,
okay.
There's already been
spoilers.
Talks. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a giant.
There's a big old spoilers
fucking
that
warning.
fucking
more spoilers,
like,
I guess.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
If like people are still here, then I assume that they're just ready for the spoilers. Like at the very end of it, when he gets his Death Note back, he left a page in a calculus book, and L finds the page. Now this is super fucking different. This is gonna take shit in a whole different direction. If there's a second movie,
if there is a second movie, which is a big if.
Yeah, because Adam Wingard has already said a lot of people are gonna be angry at this movie for silly reasons, and a lot of people will hate it for really silly reasons. But if we get the chance, I would love to do a sequel, and he's already got it in mind. He's already like got plans for it. He's already begun a little bit of the writing and looking at how he can make this movie work.
He left it open to interpretation, so even if it doesn't get a sequel, you could just kind of like think what might have happened.
Right, you can think that L used the Death Note to kill Light,
but it also sets up for a sequel. If it wants to have a sequel,
where he could be like, "I've got this page," you know.
Oh, that's also an interesting point is because that's going to be a thing. If he makes a sequel, he has a page.
Right.
So he can't just straight up just kill L because he's like, I have a page too. So he could just write his name in the Death Note of that, like that one page, and kill him, and then he will also die. So they could just kill each other.
Yeah.
So they have that little stalemate of I can't just kill each other. But my interpretation is at the end where he does find the page in the calculus book, and he's like, very close to writing something, but then it just cuts, and then you just have Ryuk laughing, and he's like, "Why are you laughing?"
Humans are so interesting.
Yeah, you can just I interpret that as he probably might have wrote his name in the book because he's so pissed at what happened to Watari.
Yeah. And I just think that there's like that look on L's face or Light's face at the very end when he's like, "Humans are so interesting," and like he's like in the hospital bed, and he's just like, "Fuck," like he just gives this fuck look like. Oh, this will be solved in the sequel. But it's a lot of fun. Like, Adam Wingard nailed how to end a horror movie. End it with...
Does he like rain?
What?
Does he really like rain
There's
a lot?
There's a lot of scenes
so much
of rain.
fucking rain and wet people.
Adam Wingard does a lot with rain. He's done it in a few of his things. He just really likes using the atmosphere and, like... He knows how to take a location and make the best of a location. Like, that's how I'll say Adam Wingard's directing is he knows how to make a location work. And Seattle's, like, pretty rainy. It's a grungy, dingy city. And, like, he really makes Seattle come alive in this movie. And I just really want a sequel. That's all I want right now. That movie is so good. I had so much fun.
So, Steven, do you have any input on how it ended?
Basically ended about as well as I expected with this massive reveal of this massive mind game being played by Light, and that was about all you could really hope for because the whole anime in a nutshell, massive mind games.
In the Japanese live action movies, L uses a Death Note to write his own name down so that Light can't kill him with his own Death Note, though they kind of already used that twist here with Light and Mia. Just the thought. I almost read that as MIA.
Yep.
Oh God, I hate her.
What I would love, honestly, if they had a sequel, if he took what Obata did with the pilot of Death Note, where there's a Death Note and there's like a life book or a life eraser thing, where basically you could, if you erased a name, it could bring someone back to life. That in the original, like, it was a single chapter thing for when he was trying to get Death Note like approved with Shonen Jump and other places. He wrote this pilot thing where someone's like, "Oh, I can do Death Notes," and he like at some point he finds out that you can like use the eraser. I forget how this works. It's been like years since I've last read it.
Is there actually an eraser in the?
Yeah, no, there's actually an eraser, and like he's like, "Watch this," and he like writes his own name or something, and he dies, and like he has someone go and erase his name, and he comes back to life. And he's just like, and that's how it works. And they're like, whoa. So, like, if he took and this is just me hoping. This is, like, fan hopes. And if in the second movie he used the life eraser, everyone that loves the anime would be so fucking pissed because they have no idea what the eraser is. They're like, what the fuck?
Does he get, like... Can he only use the eraser once, or
no? He can use it
infinitely.
He can use it infinitely, like within reason.
I feel like that's kind of broken, though.
Right. I'm just saying, like, it would be funny as like a little nod to the people, and like that's. I'm just saying, like, maybe like somewhere along the line he does that, and it gets used once or something in the movie, just as a little aside. But like, obviously, if that's not in there, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying this would be fucking funny. Let's see. Also, no fucking Misa, so what are they gonna do with, Wait, was her name actually Mia?
It was Mia.
In the anime?
No, I thought it was like some other...
It was actually Misa in the anime, right? I'm not losing my mind.
I can't remember.
It's been years.
It's been too long. So I don't really remember too much. Mia Sutton.
Mia Sutton, was it actually Mia in the anime?
Was it?
Like...
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember now, like... Okay, Misa in every other version. So yeah, I was right. So that was the only really big change that was in there. But with her dead now, I don't know where they can go with it because she was such a weirdly integral part. Also, Elle had not gotten to these kinds of conclusions. We're not gonna have the scene from the anime of Elle washing like Light's feet, doing that Mother Mary scene.
Well, I mean, his dad knows.
Yeah, his dad knows.
His dad knows about the Death Note shit now, so they could use him as like his little side character now, trying to help him because obviously they care very much about each other and they don't want to like he didn't kill his dad, so obviously, and his dad doesn't want his son dying, nor did he ever want the fact that he didn't want to really accept the fact that it was him.
And
he's like, I can't believe it's like, fuck, well, you're Kira, God.
We don't really get to see how he reacts to all the information, really.
I mean, he's obviously blown.
But he's pretty like blown. Like you were him the whole time. You know, James Brode wasn't the first. The first person you killed was Andrew Skamal, and he like kind of figures this stuff out. And he's like, you were him the whole time, and like he explains it, and he like says everything to his dad. But while he's doing that, then they were like also. Cutting that with Elle running around the house and stuff. So we don't really get to see his full, like, how he's going to handle this information. We just know that he has the information, and I don't know.
I think I don't really have anything else to say about it. I thought it was a decent movie. If you haven't seen it,
go see it. It's on Netflix.
You should go see it.
Good.
An hour 40 minutes. It's a real quick watch.
Yeah, it's not too long. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It just wraps it up pretty nicely.
They cover a lot in that. I wasn't expecting 100 minutes to go by just like that, but like still get through as much of the story as they did. Like they went all out with this, and I really hope Adam Wingard gets to do another movie. So
yeah, I thought I liked the director. I just maybe they should write a little better at the beginning.
Yeah,
it was just like it was just so it was just too edgy.
It was
just take some of the edge out, and then I will be perfect. I'll be perfectly fine with less edge. It just that whole beginning scene made me think of Spider-Man 3.
The entire movie is the dance sequence. That part is not incorrect.
Yeah, it was just I'm a teenager. Oh, I'm in high school.
Don't you walk away from me, Dad.
Bullies, America.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that about
he kills
wraps
ISIS.
That up. Oh yeah, that was pretty
this enough.
They spend several scenes in the movie just killing ISIS.
Like,
that was
literally, there's a guy in front of the ISIS flag, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this guy will do." And
he
he
like
like
pulled a nade and it blew him up.
That was so good. Oh,
but yeah, go watch Death Note if you came to this podcast or little thing we're doing and you were just like, fuck the movie. I'll just see what these people thought of it. Go watch it. Just go watch it. Like, look for all those little things we talked about. Yeah, and hit us back up at Final Fantasy. You'll probably see it somewhere at was it Black
Pack _kid.
Oh wait, you don't have a Twitter,
Stays
so
off the grid.
Twitter. I'm off the grid.
yeah, just hit us up with what you think of the movie if you want to, or your thoughts and all that stuff, and like comment below. Oh, like, comment, subscribe, all that shit.
Smash that like button.
Yeah,
Smash
yeah.
it.
Right.
So, don't know when the next podcast is. Don't know what it'll be, but it'll be impromptu. And that was Impromptu Cast. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you
Have
later.
a good one.
Enjoy your life.
Oh, that's a great way to end it.
Alright.
My
Holy
fucking back is
shit.
killing me. God damn it. Oh, God. My back. Grab this fucking microphone.
You could have had a chair.
I thought it was only going to last like 10 or 15 minutes.
Did you stop recording?
No, I didn't.
my Lord.
I'm letting it go because it's funny.
Oh, God. My back.